creating censorship laws that Margaret Atwood calls creeping totalitarianism is WACKO.
Absolutely useless obstructionism. WACKO obstructionism.
Welcome back to Moose on Moose. My name's David. In today's video, we've got a clip of Michelle Ferreri with an ultimate WACKO speech. I love that she's doubling down on this. It's just to kind of make a mockery of Greg Fergus and the whole system. And after that, I got a clip of Peter Julian using the word WACKO 4 times in 2 different videos. But this is years ago. Captain Hypocrite, NDP, Peter Julian, the guy who didn't support the Freedom Convoy, the guy who condemned it and said it was a terrible thing, a guy who's been critical of Pierre Poilievre with the whole WACKO situation and the saying of WACKO, yet he is a person who said the word WACKO multiple times just 2 years ago. Let's check it out.
Absurd, asinine, foolish, bonkers, deranged. These are the synonyms for WACKO. And they are exactly the correct adjectives to describe 9 years of this Prime Minister's policies and behaviors. Hiking the carbon tax to 61 cents a litre is WACKO.
Yeah.
Letting people smoke meth next to kids in parks is WACKO.
That's beyond WACKO.
Creating censorship laws that Margaret Atwood calls creeping totalitarianism is WACKO. 2 million people accessing a food bank a month in Canada is WACKO. Yep. Repeat violent offenders walking free and terrorizing communities is WACKO. Yep. Tent cities being the norm.
Don't mean to interrupt the honourable member from Peterborough-Kawartha, but I understand that there's no translation.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, that's convenient. That's convenient, Fergus. There's just no translation.
Hello, is there a translation available now?
Yeah, I'm not buying that, man.
I'm going to ask the honourable member from Peterborough-Kawartha to start her statement again, and the chair was distracted for a second. I hope that the honourable member will make sure that her standing order statement will not refer to an individual member. Can talk to a policy, but not a member. So the honourable member from Peterborough-Kawartha.
I thought he's going to throw her out there.
Absurd, asinine, foolish, bonkers, deranged. These are the synonyms for WACKO, and they are exactly the adjectives that describe 9 years of this Prime Minister's policies and behaviour. Hiking the carbon tax to 61 cents a litre is WACKO. Letting people smoke meth next to kids in parks is WACKO. Creating censorship laws that Margaret Atwood calls creeping totalitarianism is WACKO. 2 million people accessing a food bank a month in Canada is WACKO. Repeat violent offenders walking free and terrorizing communities is WACKO. Tent cities being the norm in Canada is WACKO.
It's crazy.
You cannot manage reality if you do not acknowledge it. WACKO chaos is the reality after 9 years of this Prime Minister. He is dangerous, and Conservatives will fight every single day to restore public safety, to restore affordability, and to restore...
He is dangerous. That was very convenient timing to have the language translation just stop working. I mean, at this point, they're so corrupt, the Liberals. How do you know what's real and what's fake, what's corrupt? I don't know. But that was quite the WACKO speech. Now let's jump into a clip of Peter Julian criticizing Pierre Poilievre for using the term WACKO.
Okay, and thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. And where we left off was Conservatives saying this morning that they wanted the bill to pass. In fact, they even chastened the Liberals for not passing the bill. As I asked for unanimous consent to move to third reading, because at this point, report stage, all we are doing is debating the Conservatives' stupid amendment, WACKO amendment, that simply says, oh gosh, we're going to delete the short title of the bill. There's no substance to it, doesn't improve the bill in any form, doesn't make any difference in terms of the public commission that so many people have been crying out for, that is so badly needed. All it does is delay and cost Canadians $70,000 for each and every hour of this absolutely useless obstructionism. wacko obstructionism from an official opposition that is not a serious party. Now, they had the opportunity to move on that.
That's real rich, man. Coming from the party that's propping up Trudeau, which is destroying the country, Peter Julian is an absolute idiot. I really wonder if these guys like Peter Julian actually believe the crap they're saying, or they're just playing the part and getting their paycheck. Like, does he really think that the Conservatives are the one to be pointing the finger at here, when obviously Trudeau is the one destroying the country and him, being the NDP, is propping him up? It's pretty cut and dry what's going on in Canada. Now, one must wonder, if Peter Julian can use the word wacko, why isn't he getting thrown out? It's a double standard. He used the word twice there. And not only that, Peter Julian used the word wacko twice again 2 years ago.
And it's important to note, Madam Speaker, that the vast majority of witnesses support C11. The vast majority. We haven't had a single Conservative stand up in the days of debate that we've had around C11 and actually admit that most of the witnesses who came to committee support C11. Not a
C11 is an online censorship bill.
Single Conservative has admitted to that. That's a problem, Madam Speaker. I mean, there is a question of credibility. And I'll say something further about the credibility, or the lack of credibility, of the Conservatives on this issue. We've had absolutely wacko claims by Conservatives. You'll recall, Madam Speaker, Conservatives saying that somehow C11 had something to do with the government actually following people on cell phones. And yes, for the Conservatives who are trying to heckle me now, just take a look at the member from, you can look at Hatzard, the member from Provencher, asked me the question, you know, boy, aren't you concerned about C11 and the government following people on cell phones? Well, Madam Speaker, I have C11 right here on the desk. There's not a word about cell phones. There's not a word about the government following people on cell phones. And Conservatives are inventing things around C11. Is it because they never read the bill, or is it because they believe in deliberate disinformation? Either way, Madam Speaker, they simply don't have credibility on this bill. They have simply shown themselves to not be a responsible opposition party.
This guy supports Trudeau. Peter, seriously, man, what credibility do you have? You supported the worst Canadian in Canadian history. Let's get real, man.
You can't invent things that are not in the bill. You can't not read the bill and then show up in the House of Commons and simply throw out things that aren't true. And there again, Madam Speaker, we've seen on social media how Conservatives have tried to equate this to some kind of censorship. And so for Conservatives to pretend that there are a wide, wacko number of things that aren't in the bill, that never were in the bill, that aren't listed in the bill, but to pretend that that has some kind of credibility and connection with the bill, I just find that very rich, Madam Speaker.
So the key question to ask here now is, Peter Julian said wacko twice there in two different situations, and neither of those speakers, Madam Speaker in that one, or the clip before was this guy, neither of those speakers threw him out. Now that points us to Greg Fergus, and why did he throw out Pierre Poilievre for using the word wacko? You can see there he was basically on the edge of wanting to throw out Michelle Ferreri, though. He was telling her to say her words very carefully there when talking about wacko. Obviously, he's corrupt. He's a liberal. He's supporting Trudeau. He either needs to resign or needs to be fired from the job because it's unparliamentary. Let me know in the comments down below what you guys think about this whole situation. Clearly, this is a biased situation. It seems we've got all the parties except the Conservatives are just a bunch of boneheads who don't care about Canadians. All they care about is lacing their own pockets and getting rich. And that's a scary place to be when we quite literally only have one party fighting for the general public. And then you have another party that just wants to break off of Canada and may end up being official opposition, which is even scarier. Can we just have some basic common sense in this country for once? So be sure to subscribe here to my second channel. I greatly appreciate all you guys watching the videos. Let's keep fighting for freedom, and I'll see you guys in the next one.